Layne Fawkes. I'm a neo-burlesque performer, singer, actress, model, and in general, I do everything. One of everything. Well, I went to college in New York in Manhattan at the American Musical and Dramatic Academy, which is a trade school, although they do offer degree programs now. I went before that was a thing. Figures. But they offered musical theater training and just regular stage actor training, and I ended up in the musical theater program. So I spent about a year and a half in New York training to be a Broadway actor. And as far as like coming back to Portland, I couldn't afford to live in Manhattan after I got out of college, because turns out it's really expensive to live there, and I'm a starving artist. So all my friends were out in Portland, and they said, hey, we have a room. I'm like, oh my God, I need one of those. So I ended up back out here and haven't left ever since. When I got back, I just concentrated on getting a job as fast as I could, because I kind of got back out here without a safety net. I saved up a little bit of money while I was still in New York with the few jobs I had, and just concentrated on getting employed as fast as possible so that I wouldn't have to trouble the people I was living with. Like, hey, I still don't have a job yet. So I just grabbed whatever was there, and I ended up working in a lot of retirement homes, a couple seasonal higher positions. I ended up starting dancing to pay off student loan debts and some medical bills I had saved up, and just kind of fell into doing burlesque from there. So it was all, half of my career is accidental, purely accidental. I just ended up being in the right place at the right time, I guess. I came back after I graduated around 2009, 2010, something like that. Yeah, because I think I started college in 2008 and was done around June 2009, and then ended up coming back out here pretty soon after that. Headless Body and Topless Bar at the Tonic Lounge. Yeah, first play I did here in Portland. First play I'd done in a long time. I wasn't available time-wise to do a whole lot of actual acting or stage shows or anything in between, like 2 jobs and a loaded performance schedule. Like, I barely had time to sleep, much less like memorize lines or go to rehearsals for a show. But it's like I took a break from one of my jobs that particular summer, and I just ended up I met Dylan through a competition I did, Miss Exotic Oregon, and like we both I ended up doing a Forbidden Zone set, which he was like the only person that knew I was doing, because it's kind of an obscure, strange, like cult classic. But we ended up bonding over that, and he asked me if I wanted to be involved in the play, and I said, yeah, sure, why not? So I auditioned, ended up getting the part, and went on from there. Well, I was worried that I would have trouble memorizing the lines and like remembering where I was in the script, because I haven't had to for quite a long time. I was afraid like just all of a sudden it's like, training? What training? Am I an actress? Do I really do this? Have I done this before? Oh God, what am I doing? But like I just kind of fell back into it, and I realized I can trick my brain into memorizing things by just like ending up doing it over and over, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I got it. I was that kid in college that would kind of like Rachel Berry in Glee, just like, all right, who wants to do this? I will. I'll do it. Give me the gold star. And like end up knowing the entire show backwards and forwards, and that started happening again with Headless Body. So I'm like, oh, phew. I haven't lost it all. Well, since then I've gotten rid of a day job after paying off all my medical debts and student loan debts. All of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I don't need this horrible job anymore. I can't wait. And just ditched it before I went to Hawaii for the Hawaii Burlesque Festival, and came back as dancer of an exotic nature and full-time performer now. So it's like I've developed enough bookings and travel and enough shifts dancing that I can sustain myself modestly, but enough to get by. Oh yeah, I do everything. I'm a show whore, essentially. I need applause to live, like Tinkerbell. Well, I've I haven't gotten together a whole lot of new burlesque routines in quite some time, mostly because like I don't have a whole lot of money to just like throw around to put together an act for maybe like 1 or 2 shows and throw it away. So I try to figure out what I already have and adapt it to a certain show if it's a particular theme, or just use what I already have. I used to be the first show I ever got booked for was a show called Burlenomicon at the Lovecraft Bar, which was a dark, creepy, scary cabaret themed show. And the first few shows I did were there, so all my acts were catered to that particular show. So when I finally got booked somewhere else, like the only acts I had were like dark and creepy. I'm like, well, guess that's my thing now. I guess I'm stuck with this. But like since then, I've been known to be covered in blood splatter on quite a few occasions. It's like I was the dark, weird one that does characters and whatnot. But I've since broadened my horizons and gotten into like a whole bunch of different things. I'm working on trying to put more traditional acts together so I can be a little more versatile and more bookable. And I'm trying to work on singing more, since that's originally what I wanted to do, essentially, for a living. But I ended up shredding my voice when I was in college because they kept assigning me songs that, like, I just wasn't able to sing. It's like, all right, you sing Christine, Phantom of the Opera. We're going to make you sing Annie Oakley and Annie Get Your Gun. Figure out how to belt. Good luck. And I'm like, no, that's not how I sing. And it's like, it just ended up wrecking my voice. And it took me a long time before I was confident enough to even try to sing in public again, much less like just go for it and get it back together. But I'm singing a lot more whenever the venue allows me, so I'm hoping to do more of that. Oh God, I'd love to. Like I've always wanted a band, and like after meeting a lot of musicians and like being involved with some like super theatrical bands that like just put on these like incredible stage shows, I'm like, I want to do that. I want to steal that thing and do what they do, but it hasn't quite come together. Right now my creative ADHD is doing like 10 different things, so like I would really love to be in a band if that ever falls into place, but right now it's not top priority. But so far I'll just keep showing up and start singing and see what happens. Yes, sex worker rights benefit. I'm singing in this show. Oddly enough, I did it the first year it happened, and this was the routine I was planning on doing the first time I did it. It's a song called "Thank God I'm Pretty" by Emily Autumn, which I think is terribly appropriate considering the job we're looking to demographic we're looking to entertain for this one. I sing it a lot at work too for my feature, and sometimes it goes well, but it's a very sarcastic, abrasive song, and sometimes people are like, this bitch is crazy, and I'm like, yeah, I know. Give me money. It's like sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't, but most of the time it's a positive result. Let me see there. I'm doing Miss Kennedy's Cabaret March 20th, also at Dante's. Mr. Sing at Sinferno, March 27th. And then March 14th is Rocket's zine release party, which I'll also be performing at the Lovecraft Bar. There's a Pee-wee's burlesque house that's happening here in April, which I'll be playing Pee-wee, and Tana the Tattoo Lady is Miss Yvonne. Very, very excited about that. It's going to be an incredible show. There's already like so many people that are super excited to be there. People are talking about like coming in from out of town just to see it. I'm like, yes, we've struck gold with this one. Yeah, it's being run by this year's Miss Exotic Oregon, Vizia Daikini, who's like Portland Fire entertainer icon. She's amazing. She's busy being famous in countries we've never heard of right now, but she'll be back soon. She's organizing all this from overseas too. I'm like, why are you the nicest person on the planet and still amazing at everything? It's not fair. Yes, I've been a huge Batman fan since I was very little, and Joker just always been one of my favorite villains. And like I always used to perform as Harley Quinn all the time. She's my true cartoon doppelganger. I've lived her story arc on many occasions. But since I ditched my day job, all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I can look however I want to look now. I'm like, green hair, let's do this. So like I had the green hair. I already had the Joker suit from a previous show a long, long time ago that I did as the Joker. And I couldn't figure out how to do that character as a solo routine for a long time. And I just happened to stumble upon the song I used for that particular performance you saw me do, and it just fell into place, and now it's like most people's favorite routine that I do. Like I just go nuts, go crazy. It's a lot of fun terrorizing the entire room, I gotta say.
Cutting loose, he's drinking juice.